Hello, good morning, my beloved kids. I hope you are all doing well. I miss you as usual. Let's pray all together that things are going to be settled down and hopefully we're going to meet again. So, today's class is a continuation in scientific notation. Today we are going to deal with operations with scientific notation. Means addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, let's start by solving an example, and during the example we will discover the methods and the ways for the operations. First section is adding and subtracting. An example is the table that's shown here. It shows three countries from North America with their population. United States that has a population of 3.1 times 10 to the power of 8. Canada that has 3.38 times 10 to the power of 7. And finally Mexico that has 1.1 times 10 to the power of 8. We obviously can say that these numbers are huge from the power of 8. So this means that 10 with 8 zeros next to it, so which is a huge number. Now the question says find the total population in these three countries. So what is the total? Obviously we are going to add these three numbers. Now adding or subtracting scientific notation numbers has two methods. The first method is to write every number with the same power of 10. What I mean by this, we need to move the decimal point and change the power of these numbers so that their powers of 10 will be all the same. For example, I have here 10 to the power of 8, here 10 to the power of 8, and this is 10 to the power of 7. So I'm going to try to manipulate this number and write it as something multiplied by 10 to the power of 8. I have to find a power of 10 that is similar to these. So what I'm going to do with this number here, if I want to increase the power to 8, I'm going to move the decimal point one place to the left, right? So for Canada, 3.38 times 10 to the power 7 is equal to 0.338 times 10 to the power of 8. Moving the decimal point to the left because I need to add 1 to my power. Alright? Now all the three numbers have the same power at 10. What I'm going to do is to add the multipliers. These numbers we call them multipliers. So I'm just going to add them. 3.1 times 0.338 plus 1.1, that is 4.538. Now the final answer, of course, it will be this number multiplied by 10 to the power of 8. Now be careful. Sometimes after you do this operation, your multiplier or this last number is not between 1 and 10. So you need to manipulate it to write the scientific notation. Remember, in the scientific notation we said that this number or the multiplier should be between 1 and 10. Here it happens that it is 4.538, which is already between 1 and 10, so no need for conversion. You put it directly times 10 to the power of 8. Clear? That's the first method. Now the second method is to write all of these numbers in standard notation. So I'm going to convert every number here to standard notation, then do this simple operation, that is addition or subtraction or whatever. So for United States, 3.1 times 10 to the power of 8 means that I'm going to move the decimal point to the right 8 places if I want to decrease this power to 0. So it will be 8 places. So I'm going to add 1, 2, and 6, 0, 0. So 6 places, 7, and 8 places. That's the number for United States. This is scientific notation written as standard notation. Same thing for Canada. Power of 7. If I want to decrease it to power of 0. Then I should move my decimal point to the right 7 places. 1, 2, then plus 5 zeros. And they are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So that's the equivalent number for Canada's population. Finally, Mexico, 1.1 times 10 to the power of 8. I'm going to make this power as 0. So it's decreasing power, so it is moving the decimal point 8 places to the right. So it is 110 million. Okay. Now I have 3 numbers that are written in standard notation. I'm going to add them all. Simple addition, and finally I will get the total, which is 453,800,000. Now I need to convert this number back from standard notation to scientific notation easily by moving the decimal point back to the left. How many places? 8 places. I want to make a number that is between 1 and 10, which is 4.538. So my decimal point should be here. Now the power of 10 will be 8. So the total population of these 3 countries in scientific notation is 4.538 times 10 to the power of 8. That is the second method. All right. Now, using this table here, I want to know how much people are in Mexico more than Canada. How can I find this number? It's the difference between Mexico and Canada. So population of Mexico minus the population of Canada. Let's do it from the first method. So I have this number to the power of 8. This one is to the power of 7. So one way to do that, either you convert this power here to 8 or you convert this to 7. The main thing is to make their powers of 10 similar. It doesn't matter whether 8 or 7. Alright, so I've chosen the way to convert this back to 7. So 1.1 times 10 to the power of 8 minus 3.38 times 10 to the power of 7. Here, before making my operation, I'm going to convert this down to 7. So taking the power down means moving my decimal point to the right. So I'm going to move it from here to here. So it will be 11 times 10 to the power of 7. I decrease the power from 8 to 7. Now I have both powers equal. What I'm going to do, easy. I'll just subtract the multipliers here. 11 minus 3.38, which is 7.62. Then finally I will multiply it by 10 to the power of 7. Again, this subtraction gives me this number. It's already between 1 and 10, so it's directly written as scientific notation. If it happened that you made your subtraction and the number is not between 1 and 10, so first you need to convert it to a number between 1 and 10 and write the proper power here. So there are 7.62 times 10 to the power of 7 more people in Mexico than Canada. Now what about the second method? I'm going to convert both numbers from scientific notation to standard notation. This number here, 1.1 times 10 to the power of 8, is 110 million. 3.38 times 10 to the power of 7 is 33,800,000. Now, you make your subtraction as normal, which is equal to 76,200,000. Now, the answer should be in scientific notation as the question requires, so I'm going to convert this standard notation back to scientific notation. How? By moving my decimal point back to this position here. So I should write it as 7.62. Why? Because we need this multiplier to be between 1 and 10 for this scientific notation. And since I moved my decimal point 7 places, then the power of 10 should be 7. So there are 7.62 times 10 to the power of 7 more people in Mexico than Canada. And this number is equal to this number. All right, let's go to multiplication and division using this scientific notation. It's very easy, easier than addition and subtraction. Let's take this example. The sun travels 2.025 times 10 to the power of 14 kilometers. The orbit around the galaxy takes 225 million years, and I want to know what is the rate does the sun travels with. So what is the rate? Basically, it is the distance divided by time. Here, distance is in kilometers, and the time is 225 million years. So I'm going to make division. First, I'm going to write the rate formula. So it is distance divided by time. Now, in the second step, I'm going to convert the years number here, which is written in standard notation, to scientific notation. So I'm going to move my decimal point to the left until here, this place. So it should be 2.25 times 10 to the power of 8. 8y, because I moved my decimal point 8 places. Now, after doing this, it's very easy. You divide the multipliers. So you divide 2.025 by 2.25. Okay, then you divide the powers of 10. So 2.025 divided by 2.25 is 0.9. And you divide the powers of 10. So you have 10 to the power of 14 divided by 10 to the power of 8. Remember, from the operations of powers, if we have division, then this is 14 minus 8. So this fraction equals to 10 to the power of 14 minus 8, which is 10 to the power of 6. Now the final result is 0.9 times 10 to the power of 6. Now look at this number. Is it written in scientific notation? No. Why? Because this number is not between 1 and 10. And the question asks to use this scientific notation in the answer. So I'm going to move my decimal point one place to the right. Means what? Means I'm decreasing power. So if I move it to the right, I will decrease the power of 10 to one place, which is 10 to the power of 5. So this number equals to 9 times 10 to the power of 5 kilometer per year. So the sun here travels with this speed, which is 10 to the power of 5 kilometer per year. Okay, finally, let's finish up with this homework. I want you to solve these two questions. The first two are operations, mixed operations between multiplication and addition and subtraction. And the last one is a question of speed and distance. So I want you to figure out these two questions and upload your answers on Google Classroom. Here is the classroom. For those who did not join, please do. And upload your clear answer there. If you have any discussion, any comments, please do comment on the classroom. All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Sleep tight. Use sanitizers. Hope to see you again. Thank you.